This March will mark 4 years since the COVID-19 lockdown in a large percentage of countries. One of the business industries impacted the most was the cruising industry, having to suspend sailings for over a year. Ships did get back in service with restrictions, and now being almost 3 years removed from the restart, things are pretty much back to normal. Almost. Here are 6 ways COVID-19 changed cruising that are still around today. First, we have the muster drill. Before, it wasn't uncommon to have to stand outside in a crowd during the life jacket demonstration. Sometimes it would be indoors, though it would still detract from the first day experience. In addition, the whole process could take longer if passengers didn't show up to their stations and you had to wait for them. In order to minimize large gatherings, many cruise lines adapted their muster procedure to be completely online. You would watch a safety video, and then go to your assigned muster station at your own discretion to verify with the crew that you watched the video. You could do it at any time, even that morning before boarding, as long as it is completed before embarkation time. While some cruise lines have gotten back to the original format, others, such as Carnival and Royal Caribbean, have kept the virtual muster around. Next up is the pre-boarding health assessment. Due to how quickly diseases can spread on cruise ships, and the fact that cruise lines are under a microscope, they cannot risk having another huge breakout. Before boarding, you may have to complete an electronic form verifying that you are not ill or feeling any negative symptoms. COVID tests used to be required for all sailings, but then became only required for certain ports. This next one pertains more to the business side, and that is the staffing shortage. With the cruise industry coming to a halt, every single crew member had to be let go. When the restart happened, cruise lines had to build back up their employee bases from the ground. Ships are still being affected by this today. Some services have been scaled down, or occasionally have been cut out entirely. Employee counts have been growing since the restart, so it is likely to get better, but no one knows how long that's going to take. Another similar point is supply chain issues, and issues with building ships. Cruise ships are getting their debuts pushed back due to delays from the shipyard. The Sun Princess has already been delayed twice, and recently Royal Caribbean's Star of the Seas, which will be in the largest cruise ship class, had its inaugural sailing delayed 2 weeks. In a statement from Royal Caribbean, they said they made the decision after a review of the work that remains to be done. Cunard even moved back the release of the Queen Anne a whole year. In the case of Sun Princess and Star of the Seas, people had already booked sailings for that week. This is why there is always a risk of being canceled when you go on an inaugural cruise. Somewhat small is, at least on Royal Caribbean, you no longer get a paper cruise compass in your room. Now you can ask for one, or get one at guest services, but they're not as common as they used to be. The digital age has had its benefits, with the ability to have information at your fingertips. However, there are some things that just can't be replicated. The physical cruise compass is a nice touch in the room. Pre-COVID, my family would highlight all the events we wanted to go to the night before. In the app, you can still mark events that you plan on going to, but sometimes it's nice to see it all laid out on paper. Lastly, our price increases. In order to incentivize cautious travelers, cruise prices were incredibly low in 2021. Now with the industry surging back, there is much more demand. Because of this, and likely to make up profits during COVID, cruise fares are at all-time highs. The shutdown was so hard on cruise lines that most had to sell some of their ships, scrap them, or go out of business entirely. Within the length of a year, Carnival scrapped 3 of their oldest and ended up selling another one. Conversely, Pullman Turk Cruises, a subsidiary of the Royal Caribbean Group, declared bankruptcy in 2021. In 2020, Royal Caribbean was at a net loss of $5.8 billion. Cruise lines' efforts to catch up for all of their lost revenue have resulted in extra onboard charges and high cruise fares. As cruise lines financially recover, only time will tell if prices will go down. Those were 6 ways COVID changed the cruising experience. With all of those out, what are some other ways it has changed? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. This is Embarkation Day. Thank you guys for watching, and smooth sailing ahead.